And y'all listen, like, if you seriously, when you come into our spaces, I'm telling you guys all the time, like, really invest in yourselves. Earlier, TC, I was talking to the audience really about what 10 things you need to have for the next 10 years as a woman entrepreneur, right? And a lot of the things that we talk about, sometimes it just feels like it's so far ahead, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
The things we talk about here are things that you can start utilizing, implementing, and practicing so that you can get better in the future. And TC, one of the things that came up since our last talk about this, because we really did deep dive as a business coach and a marketing strategist, I teach you guys how to really think about it from the forefront of your business, not just while you're in it, right? We get so caught up in, oh, I'm in the weeds, I'm in it, oh, what do I do? But when we are not in it, how are you really preparing, right? They say if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Well, that's kind of the model here, right? Being ready for everything, including your nose. We started off with overturning negative, right, a couple weeks ago, because we know that everybody's going to get a no. It's not getting the no, it's how you take the no, how you are actually reacting to someone who is in a position where they just really don't want what you have or don't know that they need it. So being okay with that, which is also a form of rejection, right? When we get into business, that no, especially that first no we're getting, feels like rejection. And sometimes it may feel like rejection even after we get it years later, but maybe we're not feeling that great that day, right? So we have to always mentally shift in sales to understand that that's number one, going to bring money into the business. Marketing does not always make you money, because you can sit there and market something all day long. You can post on social media all day. You can talk about your business all day. You can put a billboard out there, right? I was just, my fiance was just out there looking for his daughter's billboard, right? And he's like, oh, I got to find a billboard. And the billboard flashed by so fast. He was like, I didn't even see the billboard, right? But it's marketing. But did it sell? Did it convert? Are you actually getting the bottom line result of what it is that you are working so hard to get? Or are we kind of just stuck at the phase of awareness because when we get the no, it's too scary? Okay. So I'm going to start with that with sales, because we will go into systems. We will talk about what it looks like to get the no and where to put it. But let's just start with getting the no first. TC, what comes up for you so far? Because I know that sales is not an easy conversation.
I love the fact that you talked about marketing, not necessarily getting you the money, not necessarily getting you the sales. But it's also very important that we all know that every piece is important. The same way some people will be like, oh, is it not just a post? I can do it by myself. Honestly, you can't do anything that is not in your zone of genius by yourself. If you if you try to do it, do it by yourself. I'm not saying don't do it. But if you try to do it, you would find out that it's either you make tons of mistake, or you waste so much time, that time that you can leverage in doing other things, and you would say, oh, it's not just marketing. Instead of me to get somebody who is going to share, the right strategies or is going to do it for me, I can just try to figure it out myself, forgetting the fact that marketing does not essentially get you the sales. Marketing is communication. In the same way we say sales is conversation, right? So for your business to grow, you need marketing. But it's not saying that marketing equals to sales. No, it's saying that it's one of the criterias to ensure that you have business success, right? Meaning, if it is not done well, it's going to hinder several things because you want to communicate, right? And when it comes down to communication, communication is two ways, right? What I say and how you receive what I say, right, says a whole lot. I mean, I can come here right here and talk about all the things I want to talk about, but I mean, I'm trying to communicate, right? But I am only able to understand that whatever I've said to you made sense when you are able to react to what I just said. Now, after you reacted, I can now tell you for sure, okay, I communicated clearly. My communication was clear. My communication was articulate, right? So I can just, because it's a two-way thing. And so when it comes down to no, most times it's not because you're doing something wrong. Remember, marketing communication, there are two ways. The same thing with marketing, there are two ways. It goes two ways. And so when somebody says no to you, when maybe you push out a marketing campaign and you get no, it's not essentially saying no, you're doing something wrong. It could be no, these people are the wrong people, right? It could be, oh no, this platform is the wrong platform. Now, some people would take that no in the wrong perspective. Now, some people would say, oh, because I did a certain marketing campaign, for example, right? I did a certain marketing campaign and it didn't get me $10,000 a month. Automatically, they say that campaign is a failure. They say the campaign is not successful, right? They say a lot of things about the campaign, forgetting the fact that we're all missing the point here. The whole essence behind your marketing campaign is not always essentially about 10K, 20K, 40K. Most times, because we do not have the right metrics to figure out where the no's are going from, how to react to the no's, we then miss out on the 50K we could have gotten from that same marketing campaign that didn't give you that 10K. All because you are not able to understand the no, you're not able to redirect your no's. Most times I see people be like, oh, they start a business 6 months, 1 year, or rather, they start promoting something on social media. I've seen it tons of times, right? And before you know it's happening, I know your page. Obviously, I know who you are, right? And then I come back 6 months down the line, maybe 1 year down the line, and I'm going to check out what you have going on. And they're talking about something entirely different, talking about something that will make them go viral, right? Now, my question is, why? I had to ask somebody, and I'm like, why did you have to do that? And then she's like, well, I just figured that it was not working. And I'm like, how? And then she's like, nobody, that's what she said. She said, nobody was buying. And I said, how? How did you know? Like, what criteria? Well, nobody clicked. I'm like, how? Why are you giving all of this without showing concrete proof? Is it them as a problem, or is it you as a problem, or is it the platform as a problem, right? So understanding what the no is, because sometimes we're quick to saying, oh, I was rejected, instead of sitting down and understanding what the term rejection actually means. Sitting down and understanding, why was I rejected? Was it actually a rejection? Or was it something to give me clarity on something? No, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You know that, right?
No, I was agreeing. I was like to give you clarity.
Yeah, because I couldn't hear you. So I'm like, I hope she knows that I can't hear you. And then we just find out that at the end of the day, these things work hand in hand. Okay, now most times the rejection that we seek is not necessarily rejection, it's actually how we perceive it. And so how we perceive it influences how we react. And that's why so many of us get distracted. And that's why after 6 months, after 1 year, we'll be like, oh, I don't think this is working. Oh, I want to switch to something else, forgetting the fact that the most successful people, they might not tell you, but the most successful people And trust me, not everybody who comes here on social media and talk about what all these things, not necessarily that they're successful, but the most successful people that we've seen their story, we've heard their story, they had to try time and time and time and time again. And honestly, even the ones that are dead, you would notice that until they dropped dead, they were still working on their purpose. They were still working. So you thinking that you want to live soft life and that includes you crossing your hand and not doing nothing, how how is that supposed to be a criteria? Right? So I'm trying to get us out of one, the narrative, and two, the mindset of rejection, the mindset of no's, the mindset of failures. Because most times the reasons why we fail is not because of the things around us, it's because we've already told ourselves that we are failed. And so anything else that comes in front of us, we don't want to listen anymore. All we're just saying is it's a failure. So when you've already announced failure on yourself, what else do you want? Right? So yeah, that's basically how I want us to start to think about it. Start to think about rejection, start to think about no, start to think about all of these things, because that says a lot about your growth. For let's not even talk about the systems now. Let's not talk about the structure now, right? Let's not talk about that. Let's start talking about the mindset around those rejections, the mindset around those failed campaigns, the mindset around those. I mean, some people will, you've had several people who have tried a business for good 10 years. And I'm not joking with you. It's until maybe the third, 4 years into their business that they started to see some light. Hey, they started to see some light in the business. Now, does that tell you that the business is a fail? No. It only tells you that there needed to be a level of alignment for that business to be sustainable. No sustainable business, just you can't wake up in the morning and boom, it's like blown. I don't know how that works, but honestly, there is power in progression. There is power in process. There is power in redirecting the energy of that negative no. There is power in seeing negativity and telling your brain that this is not negative, this is positive. There is power in seeing rejection and understanding that no, I'm not being rejected. This is just telling me maybe switch to a new audience. Okay, this is not your target audience. This is maybe you need to redirect your conversations or you need to work on your messaging. It's not entirely saying that. I mean, it's the same way I keep saying, Allegra, that not everybody is programmed to work with low tier offers, right? Not everybody is designed to work with high ticket clients. The same thing. Not everyone is designed to sell digital products. Not everyone is designed to have, all of this contract. You just need to follow your purpose. You need to follow your people, understand where exactly you are meant to be in, right? And how you can leverage all of these energies, all of this all of these energies to your favor, right? And so we can get started with that, and that would also help us in building the right marketing strategies, honestly. The right, or rather, let me take that back. That would start helping us in communicating the right way, so that when we say something and we hear something, it aligns with whatever we have going on and the purpose in which it was built in the first place.
Wow. So thank you guys for sticking around. I saw the Virgin Hair Fantasy come in. Hey, sis. Saw to hurt me. Okay. I love it. And I appreciate you guys. And I know that Heavenly, look, she be in here for real, doing her daughter's hair. Appreciate you. I just want to say, TeeCee, you did a big one when you said, is it the client saying no or are we saying no? You did a big one with that. When I actually look at the fact, hey David, welcome in. When I look at the fact that there was a point in time, guys, where I actually did, my clients weren't even telling me no. I was saying no first. And some things would come out of that. Like I and I'll give you guys an example of something recent that happened. Someone reached out to me and they were frustrated. They were like, nobody's clicking my stuff. Nobody cares about what I'm saying. I'm posting every day and I'm just so frustrated. And I was like, well, let me do an audit real quick. I do free audits. So if you guys ever want me to do an audit, just say, Allegra, do an audit on my social media. Tell me what's going on. Okay. I don't know if TeeCee do them, but it helps a lot because sometimes, guys, you just don't know what you don't know. And this young lady, beautiful as she is and as amazing as her business is, guys, she was so pissed at an audience that was not clicking on her stuff. She was posting every day. I did an audit and found out that she was posting in a group that had nobody in it. Right? And so sometimes we're not even giving people a chance to say no before we even say no. Like, before we even look and see where our content is going, like, look at your numbers, look at your data. And this is why we know people don't know their data, is because they give us the but then when we see the frustration in their experiences, we go, well, let's just check the data. And the data just says what it says. It's very clear. But sometimes we're afraid to venture in a space where we don't know. So we challenge you guys. Hey, Nisa, the moderator is here. We challenge you guys to go ahead and just look at your numbers. Even if you don't know what it's saying, test yourself in areas where it's unknown in your business, because some of those unknown areas is where you're giving yourself a no first, because you think it's a no when you really just don't have all the information, right? I remember there was a time where one of my previous clients, actually a customer, reached out to me for my client and was like, I just asked for the link to the website and she's telling me she wants to get on a phone call with me. Literally, that is a no before the client tells you no. The client just wants you to give them a link so they can buy. But instead of us just doing the very thing that the person wants, the very thing the customer is asking for, which is giving them a call to action and then giving them the actual result of that call to action, right? Give them the freaking link. Because when you start telling them things like, oh, I'd rather get you in a call, or this is how we do things here, you know what people are going to say? Then they're going to give you the same no you giving them. They're going to be like, oh, that's a no. That's a clear no. When if they would have just got the link, they would have just bought the item. So let's just be very clear about our marketing funnels. Keep it simple. My students are here, baby. Keep it simple. If you literally feel like you are so inundated with no's, then I promise you, most likely it's not just the customer. Okay. So that's what we got to look at as sales. I love that, TeeCee, when you talked about even asking your client, like, sometimes I get this too. Like, I feel like I'm doing something for too long and it's just not working out, right? So instead of looking for something new to do, tweak what you already have. And I think sometimes, TeeCee, that's really where the problem comes into place, because sometimes people are starting businesses where they have not even written a business plan yet. They haven't written out the actual plan of action. So they just go right into it and they go, oh, this is cool. But then after working that business for a year, because it's a lot that goes into a business, then it starts to become different, because now you're not as empowered to work on sales and systems and strategy, because it's not really what you wanted to do in the first place. Identifying your mission, your value, and where you want to go in your business and your business plan is not just to just be writing stuff down. It's to actually decide, is this direction I want to actually take a chance on? Because whatever I do in this direction, I'm going to be investing time. I'm going to be investing money. I'm going to be sacrificing relationships. I'm going to be learning new stuff that I probably don't want to take time to learn, but I'm going to have to do it. So it has to motivate me enough. But if you don't have a plan of action and you're just kind of winging it, yeah, you're going to end up 6 months later back at another business. You're going to confuse your clients because they're going to be like, wait, wasn't we just talking about fashion? Now we talking about this? What are we doing? Right? 6 months, a year, that's not a long time. Most businesses, it takes about 3 to 5 years to even really get established in the market.
True.
So we switching out in a year?
True.
Casey, stop me while I'm ahead of time because I feel like it's coming up. I
No, but you're so right, and I think I've gotten to that space in my life and in my business where you know I would just tell you what I need to tell you. Now it's up to you to take it. I recently had the couple, and then they reached out, and they were supposed to have build like an art gallery somewhere around London, and then now they have a year with me, right? And when they reached out, and I said to them, I said, honestly, I am not a business coach, right? I had to say, I told them, I said, listen, I am I am not a business coach. What I can do is help you grow your business just so that you're able to stabilize, okay? And you are able to sustainably, have something you can depend on. Now, if this is something you want to do, I'm up for it. And I said to them, because of what they currently have, they need a year. And I remember the first call that we had, I said to them, I said, this is what we're going to do. Like I said earlier, you need a year. A year to make mistakes, a year to understand what you're doing, a year to try, a year to cry, a year to do all the things. And that's why I am with you, right? And so I'm going to work with you. We're going to put things in place. We are going to test. We are going to everything together. And then I remember the woman was like, are we going to make money? And I said, honestly, let's not talk about money right now. Okay? Let's talk about growth, progress. No, I see, at the end of the day, right? It's
wait,
up
but
to
you,
you.
but TC, you know why she's asking, and this is not a bad thing, guys. Like,
No, it's not a bad thing. No.
but tell them why the money is the last thing. Not that it's not important, but why is that the last thing you should be thinking about at this moment?
Yeah. I'm going. I love that, Allegra, because and we definitely will get to that. This is my reason for saying let's not talk about money now. You know why? Because when an entrepreneur puts money above growth, above purpose, above progress, above sustainability, right? They start to make the wrong mistakes. Listen, I said wrong mistakes, meaning it's not just only a mistake now, you're making the wrong mistakes, right? And you start to limit yourself. Fear starts to crippling, right? You're starting to do things out of desperation, right? And the whole energy becomes very wonky, right? Now, when you're starting, it's very important that you don't put that in place first. Now, I'm not going to tell you you're going to make this money, because honestly, I won't. If you go to my post, you will know I won't say that, right? But one thing I can promise you: growth, progress, sustainability, and something you can bank on. Something you can look at and be like, oh my God, now my family can rely on this, right? Now I can rely on this. And to be very honest with you, it was an art gallery. And how do art galleries make money? That's the first question, right? Do you want to sell just one pencil, this and that? You have to be very strategic. So when you want to make money, you know that, okay, this is the money, you're talking contracts, we're talking partnership, we're talking collaborations. There's just so much, right? But you're new to the environment, you're new to the space. You don't want to make mistakes, and people are watching. What we don't know, that as business owners, people are watching us. You know, the honest truth is that several people out of the 90 people watching you, 89 of them are saying this business won't last. Let's see how long they're going to stay. Oh, they're just doing it for the fun of it. Or maybe she's broke. Or maybe he's broke. Just give her 1 year. No one wants to take you seriously, honestly. If you're new, no one wants to take you seriously until you've passed that stage. Now they would say, okay, okay, now she's serious. Okay, now he's serious. Right? And so if you want people to take you seriously, you want to start to take yourself seriously. You want to start to think about sustainability. Now, let me tell you something about this particular client of mine. I told them, let's do 1 year, right? Now, my goal was not 1 year of making money or 1 year of cashing out. No, honestly, if you think that, don't just come meet me, because there's nothing I can do about that. But to be very exact, between last month and this month, mistakenly, and I use the word mistakenly because, like I said, we are on a trial and error strategy right now, because we want to figure out what resonates with that particular community, because it needs to be a walk-in. So it's a mix model, right? And between last month and this month, they already have done 15,000 CAD, right? Now, and I say mistakenly, right? I use mistakenly because if it was exact, they might have done more. But one thing I was looking at as regards to like metrics is the partnerships, the collaborations that they've been able to achieve in the past 4 months, because we're just 4 months down the line. Now, because they were not just bent on, oh, I want to blow up in 2 months, or I want to make my first millions in this. They were more strategic. They were more focused, right? Now they started working on workshops. We started working on workshops. We started working on parties. I said to them, I see, I will walk you out. Are you ready? They're like, TeeCee, anything. Like the last time we were on our call, the husband was almost like, he's like, TeeCee, my body aches. And I'm like, I understand, but just let's keep going. Right now, they have a collaboration with their local radio station. Right, they have really good collaborations. And I said to them the last time we were on I said, see, it's not about the no's right now. It's about the yes that we have. How strong are the yes we have? How can we use this yes to start to level up? Now, all of the workshops we've been trying out, some people will make money, some people, you see, just that 4 months, right? We said to ourselves, okay, you know what? In the past 4 months, this has been what has been working, right? These have been the category of people coming into the center. Now, let's plan something for them for the holiday season. And you know the very funny part? You would think that it is the young people who would come to the center. Actually, it's the retired and the senior citizens who flood that place. Like, it was so shocking when we were looking at it. And I started to say to him, I said to the husband, because he's the one who is like very, meticulous and all of that. And I said to him, what do you think? And he's like, TeeCee, like, I am overwhelmed the right way. And I'm like, do you think you want to keep doing this? He's like, I can't even say no, because now it feels like we owe the community something. And when he said that, I'm like, now we are in business. I mean, we just started the business. And they were looking at me. I said, honestly, you just started your business. So welcome to your business. And they were looking at me. I'm like, that's it. We're done for the day. All right, I'm just going to send you what to do, and that's it. And so it's important that we understand that even when we have those no's, those negativity, it is how, earlier I talked about marketing communication, right? And communication is not only what you say, it is what is being said to you, and how you perceive it, and how you use it, how you interpret it. That's part of communication. That is part of marketing. So many of us post every single day, but we don't listen. right? So many of us post every single day, but we don't listen. And then we forget that part of marketing is listening. So many of us, I mean, you will see consultants out there. I'm not saying everybody should do contract, everybody should do all of that. No, I'm saying that depending on what exactly your purpose is, right? When it comes down to marketing, is communication, and there are different stages of communication, aka marketing. There is the part where you're going to speak to your audience. There is a part where you're going to listen to your audience. You're going to interpret what they say, and you're going to rephrase it, mold it, and then give it back to them. But so many of us, all we do is talk all day. How do I mean? All we do is post. We just keep posting and keep posting and keep posting. We're not even listening, right? And tomorrow you come and be like, oh, they've been telling me no. Who's telling you no? No one is telling you no. You're telling yourself no because you're not even listening. Most times, I would get people who would just reach out to me and be like, oh, TeeCee, can you come take my community? Can you come to... And I started to realize that this is looking like a trend. Like people be like, I'm like, okay. It's like I would have to cut down on what I do from my own space and just focus on people who are inviting me, come teach your distance. Like it's easier for me, right? So if this is what people want, they don't want to come to me, they want me to come to them. I'm like, Lord have mercy on me. That's okay. I do it. Yeah. I mean, it to me, it's no stress. And you know, the very funny part is that it's the same thing I am teaching. So I don't have to create something new. It's the same thing I'm teaching different cohorts. I'm literally partnered with about 5 organizations here. And honestly, they do like cohorts, right? It's the same thing.
Okay,
It's
so
the same thing.
before you get
I'm teaching.
overly
So what?
excited,
Honestly. So I'm like, why am I stressing myself doing workshop, trying to get you all to do when I'm just going to take the same thing I created how many months ago and use it for different organizations? Tell me. So it is important that we understand that when people tell us no, it might not be that no, this offer is wrong. It might be no, T, the people you're sharing this thing to, the way you're sharing it to them, it's not meant for them. Why don't you give it to these other persons? But we are not listening.
wow. TC, you said so many things. I know David jumped up here, so I know
Hey,
that
David.
a lot he probably wants to chime in there. But before we go to David, I just want to let that breathe for a second. So it's very interesting, guys, because I just did my rebrand, and even what you're saying, TC, is seeping into my brain as to exactly why I needed it. Right? Because I realize it's maybe something, you know, with regards to how we are all feeling, right? When you care about the people that you serve, right? You pay attention to what they're saying. And that's exactly what the rebrand did. I literally just went back into all of my case studies and I looked at my coaching sessions and TC, just like you saying, right? Because sometimes, guys, we have to realize that we are elevating. So that next level, sometimes we're not getting those results from ourselves. We're not getting the right yeses because we're elevating, but the people that we're elevating from are still in our circle, right? So they can't see what we see. So they're like, yeah, it sounds good, but I'm not buying it. That's great, but that ain't for me. I like Allegra because Allegra been around me for 3 years. That's my homegirl, but I ain't buying it. So it's like looking at, well, what is that next level? And TC, to your point, and this is what I want us to all think about, because sometimes it's also a tweaking of a thing. Because maybe the original audience that you have, maybe they can't afford you, right? Maybe they do need to work with you, but they cannot afford you, right? What alternatives are there? Are there companies you can work with that still work with those same clients that you can work in partnership with? I personally, TC, that's exactly what happened with the rebrand. I partner with accelerators, incubators, and organizations my clients were already coming to me with because they were like, I can't afford that. But if I get to an accelerator, I can. So it's not doing anything different, guys. And sometimes I think TeeCee brought it up so good because sometimes we're trying to, we're not getting the results with what we love doing, where we're doing it. So we switch and we do something different where you don't have to do anything different. Maybe just apply it differently. Okay. Sometimes some people don't work individually with clients. Sometimes people just go to a business that contracts business coaches and, you know, back-end system professionals, and they contract you under your business name. So literally you have an annual contract with one company for 6 figures. What's the harm in that? You're still working with clients. You're still doing the same things, right? Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking outside the box here, okay? So, I mean, you don't have to work so hard is what I'm saying. And I think, TeeCee, this is a conversation for the brain more than it is for the business, right? Because the truth is, we do like to work hard. And if it doesn't mimic the trauma response of doing a lot of work, sometimes it doesn't feel like we do enough. When sometimes the less that you're doing is giving you more than you need, okay? So getting the sale may mean sometimes doing less than what you're doing. Go ahead, David. I want to hear from you. I can't hear anything, though. Nothing, sir. Nothing. All right. I'll unmute your mic for you. Hopefully that helps. And we want to hear from David. And, you know, we're doing this TikTok reel series. So we want you guys to also tune in throughout the week to hear the results of some of these conversations. But David, I cannot unmute you for some reason. You can invite. Oh, I did. I invited you to turn it on. Go ahead. See if that works. I heard a little.
Testing. Hello?
Hello.
Yay! All right. Y'all were dropping bombs, man. Gosh darn it. So I guess if I had any additional thoughts, it would be shiny object syndrome is very real. As a former person that used to have shiny object syndrome, when you first get into business, you're excited, right? So you feel like you can do everything. Oh, you want to sell books, you want to do this, you want to do that. But then there is a such thing as opportunity fatigue, which is something that I found out about, which means that yes, you can do a lot of things if you have delegation, if you have help, if you have certain things, right? And I think that one of the things to keep in mind with that is to figure out what you're doing, right? Because I do believe that everybody has a certain thing that, you know what, this is designated specifically for me. This is what God wants me to do. This is my path. This is where I'm going, and all of those things. And while delegation and listening to people is great, I do think that it's important to separate too. I don't think that you should get so involved in what other people want you to do that you forget what your assignment is and what you're supposed to be doing, because that also happens. And I think that that's where shiny object syndrome comes from, because maybe you want to start out and you have an idea to get into dance or get into yoga, right? For example. But then you tell the wrong person or you tell the wrong people and they convince you or they try to convince you that that's not what you should be doing. But that was your original thing that you wanted to do. And you felt like it could work, and you were getting clients, you were getting business, you were getting certain things. And so I think that shiny object syndrome, like I said, is very real. It sounds good in conversation until you realize that you have to juggle all of these things. And everything takes energy. All of these different things that you're trying to do take energy. And so I love what TeeCee said, Allegra, about number one, being intentional. And number two, not overdoing it, realizing when you're overwhelmed. Because especially if we're workaholics, we don't realize that we're overwhelmed, right? And sometimes it takes a third person, somebody on the outside looking in, to tell us that, like, hey, listen, like, I see where you want to go, I see what you want to do, but I think you're doing too much, or you're overworking. You're not getting paid for the amount that you're working, especially when you put in a lot of hours. So I think that shiny object syndrome is really real, like I said, and I think that it's important. We talk about rest, but I think rest is underrated, and that's something that I've come to grips with, and I've kind of realized that in my own journey. But I do. I think rest is overrated. I think there's a too much of an emphasis on working all the time, and there's no real reminder to rest, right? Like, and you hear it. You know, when people say that a lot of people don't check on the strong side, right? The person that always shows up, the person that, however that may look, is not everybody, but the person who always shows up. And I think that as much as showing up is important, I think that it's also important for the person who shows up to be around somebody or a group of people that remind them that it is okay to take a day off, that it is okay to relax, it's okay to recharge, replenish, and then continue where we left off the next day, right? So I think I love this discussion. I'm glad to be here, but I think that that should definitely have a lifetime too. Is that the importance of like rest and stepping away from shiny object syndrome and not just doing what's trending, right? Because what's trending right now may not be trending in a few years or in a few months. So I think that it's important to stick with your blueprint rather than always doing what's trending. Because I feel like if you stick with your blueprint and what God wants you to do, then you'll be able to get through those no's. You'll be able to get through certain things if you're sticking within your blueprint and you're not trying to do too much too early. So, so those are my thoughts on it, but I'll pass it back.
Okay. I know TeeCee gonna want to blast off in here real quick, but hold on, mute your mic because I think I have some feedback in here. TeeCee, I said you're gonna want to blast off in a moment, but I wanted to say something before you went in, because the thing about this is so much detail that you gave, David, in different areas that people struggle with, right? And I want to say what came up for me. Hold on, let me try and okay. What came up for me was that, I think you have a really good point about being very cautious of who you're listening to when making decisions about your business, opposed to what your customers in the market are saying about what they want from your business, right? And I think sometimes we have to differentiate that, because I was just having a conversation with my client mom. I call her my client mom now because I still can't believe she's my client. Like, she actually pays me, guys. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, you can charge your family, you can charge your friends. Like, it's okay. They pay full price. But I really want to encourage you guys to like look at this. We are having conversations that I think are just so much more personal, where she'll come and she'll be like, oh, this happened today or that happened today, where most of my clients won't be so open, right? And one of the things she mentioned was one of her people, right? You know how you got friends and family and people in your circle, whatever. When her people was like, oh, girl, you need to, do this and this with your business. And, then she said, well, let me try it out. And then she tried it out, and her friends still didn't buy from her, right? And then she was like, well, I don't know what's going on. Like, I asked her, like, why didn't you buy? I did this and that. And then the girl went back and was like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy it. I'm just, I'm just a little. So I said to her, listen, right? Because we've been molded in this, David, right? So if you've been in business for more than 5 years, 3 years, even, you get it. Certain people can have a hand in your business, which means that you pay them to give you advice or you asked for it.
Right.
Other than that, it's kind of like unsolicited information that you really don't have to take and you don't have to care about. If they're your client or your customer and they are giving you feedback on product, service, or something that they're getting from you and they're buying from you, that's a whole nother conversation.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
So I want people, that's listening, because we don't know who's going to listen to this at what time, right? But people who are listening, make sure you differentiate people who are in your circle telling you what to do with your business, opposed to people that are actually buying and giving feedback. Because the people telling you what to do in your business, they wish they could be there doing it themselves, but they're not. So let them be where they are. Okay. Let them sit there, let them soak, let them do whatever they got to do and watch you grow. And let them have their comments and their opinions in their head, okay, and not in your ear. So sometimes you got to teach people how to treat you. They get their opinion, go, that's a great opinion. Thanks so much. Thanks. Appreciate that. But they don't go nowhere else unless they have a business that's more successful than yours.
Yeah.
And then they say you should try this, and you go, you know what? I am going to try that. Let me try and see if that works. But most of the time, the people that are coming to you, giving you unsolicited advice, are people that do not have what you have. Okay, and they do not have any more than that either. So be very cautious, y'all. But I definitely think, to your point, we have to be mindful of how we take our journey and who we're getting our information from, and also how we're giving ourselves grace to grow, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, TeeCee.
No, I mean, I totally agree. While you were speaking, I was thinking about somebody who reached out to me, and then she's like, we're working together. We're still working together for a project. And then she's like, oh, TeeCee, somebody said we should do it this way. And I looked at her and I'm like, somebody said we should do it this way. Do you want to give her the entire project? And then she's like, oh, no, it's just like, I'm like, that's all I did. I'm just like, because I don't understand why, as individuals to start with, because we are first individuals before being entrepreneurs and business owners.
Right.
I get it. It's a lot sometimes. But why do we want to see a need to please people who have no level of investment to our investment? Now, let me explain myself. There is no emotional investment. There is no physical investment. There is no financial investment. But they have something to say. And it's affecting the way you run your investments. Like, it doesn't make sense. And the very interesting part is some people will carry it on their head and start having sleepless nights. And my question is, these people have never done this before. These people literally, do you know the very funny part? That same lady reached out to me. We met at another event, and so she's like, oh, are you the one helping this person? I said yes. So she's like, and then 2 days later she reached out to me and she's like, oh, I've been thinking about doing this and doing that. Is there a way you can support me with it? And I'm like, this is supposed to be your best friend, right? And you're coming to me to do the same thing. I was trying to like, I'm like, you want to put me in the middle, right? No, that's the plan. In my head, I'm like, if I want to look for trouble right now, if I want to be really petty, I'm literally going to go tell this lady what this other person is saying. But I just looked at it and I'm like, you're a child of God, so don't be petty. Just respond to her, and So I sent her an email, because I didn't call her, I didn't message her, I sent her an email. And I told her right now that what she wants to do is contradicting my confidentiality with another client, so it cannot work. I didn't mention names and all of that, but I knew, because obviously, of that. And it then confirmed the fact that we are here listening to people who literally do not care about us. Now, what they want to do is literally confuse us.
Yeah.
Why are you letting them? Should I tell you why we're letting them? Because we're afraid. Because we don't even trust ourselves. Allegra, what happened? Why are you so dramatic? But, no, but seriously, because some people don't even trust themselves.
Mm.
So they can't do nothing. So because they don't trust themselves, they can't see themselves trusting their team members. They can't even see themselves trusting somebody else who they pay to support them. Now, you would think it is your problem, but honestly, it's not your problem. It is their problem because they do not know how to trust themselves. I mean, someone who can't trust themselves, how can they trust you?
Mm.
Right? So, because they don't trust themselves, they're going to allow distractions, confusions to sit in their throne of grace because they are the ones allowing it. Right? They're going to bring other people who have no clue about their vision to take a seat. Why? Why are you opening your door to people who all they want to do is confuse you? And you know that,
Mm.
but you're just too untrusting of yourself to actually put that in place and tell them, okay, you know what? Oh, thank you so much. Yes. Oh, oh, this is beautiful, very powerful. Okay, all right, okay, and let it go. I mean, because some people are people pleasers. So I'm not going to tell you don't be people pleaser. No, that's not my zone of genius. So I'm not going to tell you what to do or how to not do it. No. But I'm going to tell you if you love to please people, it's okay. Just tell them, oh my God, very powerful, marvelous. Oh, this is something I have to think about. All of it. After what you're done, you let it go and you focus on what you are meant to do because unsolicited advice, I'm going to end at that. But we want to, as much as possible, be more intentional, right? Let's be more intentional about, you know, who we listen to their nose, because some people's nose are just meant. They're just. I don't want to use this word, but the devil just sent those nose.
Mm.
You guys are dramatic.
Girl,
But the
can y'all hear
devil
me?
just
Hello,
sends
testing,
those
testing.
no's to confuse us. So when you listen to the no's, it is meant to, the devil is trying to tell you, oh, okay, you know what, you're not meant to do this. There's just confusion, no. So there's certain no's that you're not even meant to listen to. Now, when you want to start to listen to people, you start to listen to people who maybe already have the lifestyle that you want, or they have the expertise, the professional expertise that can tell you, okay, you know what, because they've done it or they've read it, or they're professional about it. That's their expertise, right? Or your customers. If you're tired and you want to listen to people, you listen to the people, your audience, listen to the people you're selling to. They give the better criticism, they give the better advice, they give the better solutions. Honestly, it's just the only problem is that we just do not know how to listen. But the people always give the best. They always tell you the direction to go. Most times we just are not listening to them. We're just doing what we want to do. Pause, 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 pause. But we're not listening. We're not paying attention. Right? So it's very important that we focus on the no's, or the, oh, how about we do this differently, or oh, let's do this a different way. The right set of people, right?
I mean,
It,
even to your
go on,
point,
David.
even to your point, I love what you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that sometimes we villainize the word no, right? So we think that somebody telling us no means that they'll never support. And sometimes what happens throughout the journey and the process is somebody's no for right now may mean yes later.
Yeah.
Once they see that you've grown your business, once they see that you've grown your product, once they see that you've grown into the person that can handle what you're asking God for, or what you're asking the universe for, whatever you want to call it. Once people see that you can handle it, then you'll see, like, some people will go, oh, you know what? I've been watching TeeCee. I've been watching Allegra. I've been watching David, whoever. And you know what? I love their growth. I love where they're going. Okay, so now I can support. But if we keep villainizing the word no and we keep saying, oh well, this person said no in this moment, so that means that they won't support whatsoever. I think that's where the problem is with the word no. And
I agree.
sometimes no means next opportunity. Doesn't always mean that somebody's not going to support you ever again. And I think that that comes from a fear of rejection. I think that that comes from maybe at some point in the past, maybe you had somebody that you really liked and they told you no. So therefore you internalized it. And so now you think that every no you receive is a blow at your ego when it's not. Sometimes no means not right now. It doesn't always mean never. And I think that sometimes us as people, myself included, I'm working on it, we villainize the word no. And I think once we stop villainizing the word no and we kind of say, okay, well, that might, like TC said, that might not have been my client. That might not have been my customer. But one person telling you no is not going to make or break your business. It's not going to make or break your journey. It's not going to make or break where you're going. So I think keeping the word no in mind and reminding ourselves that sometimes it's simply next opportunity and not internalizing it, not taking it personally, and that kind of stuff. I think that when people tell us no, if we look at it that way, then it's we handle it better and we don't take it personally. We don't internalize it. As I said in the four agreements, don't take anything personally. So I think if we can get past that, then there would be more successful people. There would be more of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think villainizing the word no is where we just as people, as a society, go wrong. But I'll land there. Hmm. Mm.
Those were actually meant to lead us to the path that we need to take.
Yeah.
Like some people, they finally realized that the no's were actually meant to get us not working with a certain kind of persons.
Mm.
Do you know that there's this lady that I worked with earlier this year? After I was done working with her, I had to go to church. I won't lie. I went to church and yeah, I went to church and I was thanking God.
Hmm.
I told God, no, I was thanking God because of grace and wisdom. God gave me wisdom and gave me a strategy. And honestly, if I hadn't taken that strategy,
Hmm.
I would have literally lost my mind. You know, have you seen a situation whereby you're working with so for somebody like me, right? Because of what I do, I cannot afford to work with somebody who is mentally confused,
Mm.
right? Why? Because it's like you giving me 10 more additional work, right?
Right.
That I'm meant to do. Because the mind work is a different work on its own. So I'm already using my brain to get results for you. Now you're giving me your mental stuff to deal with on your behalf. That's too much for one person to handle, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm just being honest, I cannot afford to work with somebody like that, right? And most times you might not know if you don't have certain discernment, right? That's why I always say that as entrepreneurs, you need that spiritual, um how would I put it, openness, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to be able to, everything is not the way you look at it. Because some people be like, until you go in and you be like, oh, I wasn't ready, right? And
Yeah.
so I remember when she came to me and she's like, you know what, TC, I want to be able to. She has a very huge agency, quite all right. right? And so she was like, she has a real estate agency, and she was like, she wants to be able to build 5 funnels, 5 different funnels for her this, her that, and all of that. Boom, 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 boom. You know, when you hear that, the first thing in your head is like money. You know, you're calculating how much it will be, you know. And then she's like, you know what, just tell me how much it is. I'm just going to write a check and blah, blah, blah. One mind was telling me, calm down. I know that you need money, you need to do this and do that, but take it easy. Take it easy. You know, I prayed about it, and God, and something said to me, I was like, okay, you know what? How about you write a contract letting her know that you're going to build one funnel first for her and then set it up for her. Now, depending on how they're able to use it, then you then think about if the remaining 4 is of use. I'm like, is that not shooting myself on the foot? I'm like, this is, and listen, this lady, I literally just gave her that bill for that one, and she paid it full. She was like, Auntie, are you not sure I just pay everything? I'm like, pay everything. Oh, I'm like, okay. I'm like, who do I tell this to? You know? And I was trying to make a decision. I just said, okay, you know what, this junction, let me just follow the spirit that is telling me this thing and just go with it. I wrote the contract, did everything, and I sent it to her. And she paid. Like she paid everything clean, upfront, full price, everything. And we built it out for her. You know, I woke up in the morning one day and I saw messages in my inbox. And then the lady who referred me to the lady was like trying to call me, and I'm like, what's happening? And then she said, the event, the reason why we did all of these things, this woman just woke up and said she doesn't want to do the event anymore. And I'm like, what happened? People are already registered. And then I'm like, what happened? Like, she doesn't want to do, like, everything we've built. She just needs to show up. What's the problem? And then she said, this lady would just like, she doesn't have what, she said she doesn't have what it takes to, and I'm like, I was lost. I was lost. I didn't know what to do. And then she's like, oh, she did this. Oh, she wants to go to San Francisco, and then she wants to do this, and she wants to do that, and I have never been as confused as I were. Like, I was so confused, and I'm like, what exactly are we talking about again? I had very horrible headache that day. I tried calling her, and then she's like, oh, TeeCee, I'm on my way to San Francisco right now. I don't think I want to do. Let's just send people an email and tell them the event has been cancelled. I'm like, just like that. Just like that. Right? And so, honestly, I do not appreciate such level of professionalism. I mean, I don't know what happened. If she woke up and be like, oh, I wasn't feeling too well, that's different. But it was just absurd. Like, honestly, I just felt this was crazy. And so I sent her an email, and I said, I feel like it is a height of irresponsibility, and it's a disrespect to people's time, energy. We've spent weeks, days, hours trying to put all of these things together. People who have registered, people who are waiting for you, and all you can do is this. And then she's like, oh, TeeCee, it's my business and it's my money. I can do whatever I want to do. I'm like, okay. And so that was it. I just sent her an offboarding email, and that's it. And heavens know, I went to church, and I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Because I can't imagine how I will be working with somebody that is this insensitive. You know, And so I said to myself, imagine if maybe we had gotten on the call, and honestly, I didn't find working with her pleasant. It was very traumatic to me because I didn't know how to place it, right? And so I then went and I'm like, I was really thankful to God because, and something in my heart said to me, what if you had gotten on the call with this woman and then she had told you no? You would have felt bad that somebody said no to you. You would have thought that you missed this money. Now look at the stress, look at the embarrassment, look at all of these things. And it was an in-person event, you know? And it was I don't know why I felt very embarrassed and, very I think I felt more embarrassed than disappointed, you know? And so because I felt it was very embarrassing. And so, you know, in my head I was like, if I'd gotten on the call with her and maybe she had told me no, I would have felt bad. But it would have saved me all of this. At the end of the day, this time, energy, I would have worked with somebody else that would not only do what they need to do, at least I would have proof that this work have been done, because there's no proof anymore that the work have been done, right? And for me, proof, do you know how many more clients I would have gotten if that event had taken place, right? Now, I just literally stopped myself because of just one paycheck, right? So that's what was in my head. I'm like, but thankfully I didn't sign up for the entire 5 funnels that I look at this. Imagine if I'd taken her money, how would I have done it? What would I have done? So sometimes this no that we think is a no, no, no might just be a yes to something that is really what is meant for us. So to your point, David, at the end of the day, let's not just think all the no's are like bad no's. Some no's, good no's, are really good no's that would only open doors to more opportunities to us. So let's embrace it.
Wow. Okay, can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me good? Okay. So this is new for me. But listen, we do have to wrap this up because you know how I am about time. Until we get down to these 2, 3, 4 hours TikTok live streams, we're gonna stick to our hour and a half. I do want you guys to, number one, okay, I'm going to hold it up here because I feel like this is supposed to be a mic. But anyway, number one, follow TeeCee, because TeeCee and I, we do lots and lots of series, promotions. When you guys have seen us in the past, we went from Clubhouse to YouTube to LinkedIn to Facebook, and you'll see all of our live streams all over there. But now we're coming on TikTok to give you guys more of an in-depth knowledge of how to really get through your cells and systems, overturn your negatives. When we started out talking about no's, right? Which we are digging more into. And we also have some skits that we're going to be bringing out for y'all. So stay tuned for that because me and TeeCee are working through that. But the truth is that, to your point, and let's end here, where your no's, first of all, David, I love it. I don't think any no is a negative, right? I think that it comes off as negative sometimes. Like some people may feel like a hard no. They're like, no, leave me alone. And some people may just are like, I don't know. I don't really know. And it feels like, okay, well, that something's got to be different, right? To get to that yes. So I do think that no's always mean next opportunity, whether it's, them making an excuse, because you can get better at figuring out why. Like TeeCee said, you can ask the questions. You can say to people, what would have changed your mind in what capacity? And I've done that before, not to every client, but I had a huge client and he was like, your prices was too low, so I wasn't buying from you. It didn't matter what you said, Allegra, it just looks sketchy, right? So I think no's are good because they give us the opportunity to learn from every single no. And if we're not taking every single no to learn from, then yeah, it can easily be taken as offense, right? Which there is a spirit of offense. Some of y'all walking out there being offended every day, don't even know y'all being attacked, okay? Y'all just offended. for no reason, but it's not offense. It's really just people saying to you that they don't want that either right now, or this is not fitting what they need, right? What they think they need. And I love how you, David, presented it in a way where it's a no that can be a yes later. And this is where I think it's so important, where TeeCee comes into play and she talks to us about where are your systems, right? How do you get back to the no if you don't have a system to follow up? How do you remember all of those no's and who to contact at what time? Because they said, oh, I got to talk to my husband. Let me talk to my husband. So now you can follow up with them in about a week. You don't have to think about it in the forefront of your mind where you got to write it down and go, okay, that's too much. But this is why we say create a system where you can actually hold information about your clientele, whether they said yes today, no today. Now you know, okay, I can follow up in a couple days. If you don't have a system in place that tells you how to do that, a lot of times you will miss out on your next opportunity, because the fact is that that no will eventually turn into a yes at some point, right? And if you're not the forefront of that person's mind when they're ready to say yes, then it will remain your no. So this is why it's so important. So we'll dig into that next week, TeeCee. We'll talk more about how they can systemize that thing. You know, people like systemize it. Like, this is not rocket science, guys. This is just regular stuff we've already been doing for years. But we want you guys to get on the curve of the market, stop being behind in the digital, fluency, right? Get very confident with your technology. Understand that if you're not getting your systems together, if you're not following the instructions and directions we're giving you now, we'll see you in about 5 years and we'll be having the same conversation. Okay. I'll have it over to TeeCee so she can go ahead and end it for us.
Okay, so like we would always say, our conversations are not meant to make you doubt yourself. Our conversations are meant to open your minds to seeing the potentials that are hidden. Our conversations, especially the negativity that we hold, not because we are perfect, but because these are things that we've gone through, we're still going through, and we want to share it with you because it's easier to overcome. It's easier for you to build that strength in unity, than for you to want to single out yourself and try to figure it out all by yourself. And so we would say that you should come back, join us Monday, same time, 6 p.m. You just need to join us. Ask your questions. Tell us your story. Tell us, what challenges you're facing when it comes down to refusals, rejections, negativity, even from yourself. Because most times we want to think that the rejections and negativities are from other people, but we forget that we started. And so we are also the only ones who have the power to, switch it, redirect it, control it, and make it work for us. But you don't have to do it in isolation. And that's why we have spaces like this. Okay, so let's stay connected. Make it a date, Monday, 6 p.m. every week. Like Allegra said, we're working on some TikTok skits and all of that, so stay tuned to that as well, and make sure that you stay connected. Okay, and if you have any questions, feel free to always reach out. There is power in staying clear. There is power in asking questions. You asking questions is not because you're weak or because you don't know what you're doing, but because you're actually strong and you know exactly what you want for yourself, and that's why you're asking those questions. I'll leave you all today. As always, my name is TeeCee, and I'll see you all on Monday, okay?
That's awesome. Thank you, TeeCee, for that. And thank you, David, so much for joining us today. You guys will see David in a lot of our spaces because he is a speaker at the conference. Okay. Next year, shout out to the men who support us in the win. We still trying to get TeeCee out of the country. So
Please do.
We're working on it, but
Please do.
She's like, get me out of here.
Support the win, okay? So they can sponsor my flight ticket.
And listen, and what's so crazy, guys, is that so call to action, guys, because we have a huge event happening. I'll say this before we leave. Call to action. We have a huge event happening next year in 2026. Right now, I just put the flyer out for the speakers, and it doesn't even cover all the speakers. We have over 20 speakers ready to go, and that are just really excited about women, empowering women of all generations. And that's what we're doing. We're bringing women of all generations in one room. And whether you have a business or not, right? Because most of us are very entrepreneurial, but we got to bridge these gaps, guys. I am literally around 5 generations in my family, right? So we're bringing that in the room. Now, the one thing I don't want, guys, is I don't want anybody to miss this. So what we need someone to sponsor a ticket. We need someone to sponsor a ticket for someone who wants to come from another country that is ready to get on a plane. Okay. Once them tickets is done, you got to actually we need a sponsor. So if you're interested in sponsoring this person, I want you to reach out to the DMs. You can reach out to my DMs. You can reach out to the Women into Networking DMs, but I'm actually going to start doing this even a little bit more because I believe we have 2 major sponsors that are ready. So I'm going to be talking to them about sponsoring tickets as well. But that's a great idea, TeeCee. I need to start doing more call to actions for that, for especially if they're like, oh, I'm not able to come. Okay, sponsor a ticket. There you go. You can support a wonderful charity. So anything else, TeeCee? Because I know they...
I think that's it from me. Yeah, let's just stay connected, let's stay connected, let's stay informed, let's stay clear, because honestly, clarity in this time and age is gold, is diamond mixed with gold. So there's so much going on, there's so many things, YouTube University, so many information going on. Trust me, it's confusing, and sometimes we're confused. So let's stay clear. Once you're clear, you'll make the best decisions for your business. That I'm very sure of.
Absolutely. And David, since you're on stage, I would love to give room for you to have any final words or any words of wisdom, if you like.
This is great. I'm always glad to be here. Of course, I feel like it has been 2 years, going on 10, of supporting what y'all are doing. So I'm glad to be here. But what TeeCee had said always, and it reminds me of the difference between being committed and interested, right? So a lot of people will give you a loud yes, but a quiet no. So sometimes they don't even have intentions on following through, but they'll say yes because it sounds good until they realize that it takes work after the yes. Right. So I love what TeeCee had to say. And I want to encourage people to learn the difference between being committed and being interested. Because commitment says,
I need you to write that down, please.
Learn the difference between being committed and being interested. Because interested says, oh, yeah, I'm super excited until it's time to do the actual work. And then it becomes, nah, I don't want to do it. Whereas commitment says, you know what? I may not feel like going to the gym all the time, but I want the end results. So I'm going to show up anyway. I want the end results of my business, so I'm going to show up anyway. That's what commitment is, not interested. So I'm going to encourage people that are listening to learn the difference between interested and committed. So I'm glad to be here. Glad to show love as always. I'm going to drop it there. I don't want to take up too much time because I could go on and on about this, but I'm glad to be here. So I'll pass it back to you, Allegra. You can close this out.
I literally put my feet up on the table, y'all. I'm like, y'all done got me laid back. What? Did you say a loud yes and a solid no? Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, that is what I said. I was putting myself.
I thought I heard that. But why are you laughing, TeeCee? Because I'm over here about to spaz out. Because it's so deep for me, guys. Okay. So committed versus interested. I love that. I definitely, David, if you come back for the next Monday night, I want you to bring that energy back into the room. I took my notes on it, guys. So listen, if y'all missed this live today, I just don't know what to tell you. We will be replaying have the replays in the Business Mastery membership. I don't know where TeeCee gonna put her replay, but we're definitely going to.
As long as I have it and I see it.
Yeah, we're gonna check that after here. But I'm sending you the replay from last week, so guys, you will be able to see all of what we're doing on both ends. So when you guys see myself, see TeeCee, I want you guys to follow both, because if I don't get to something, TeeCee's probably gonna have something laid on her page for you. Okay. And we don't want you guys to miss any of these gems. All right. So we'll see you guys next week. Have an amazing night.
Bye, y'all.